There are nights when the universe seems to whisper. This audiobook takes you on a tranquil journey through the most astonishing data of the cosmos, from suns that die with invisible explosions to worlds that defy all logic. As sleep approaches, your mind explores, and each piece of information is a spark that ignites wonder, because even while resting, we remain part of something much larger. One of the most intriguing actors in this immense play is the asteroid. These wandering rocks traveling through space are much more than mere inanimate objects. They are, in essence, the building blocks of the universe. Imagine each asteroid as a piece of a cosmic puzzle, waiting to be placed in its position to help form planets, including our own Earth. Have you ever wondered how they contribute to the creation of our home in space? Asteroids are the remnants of the formation of the solar system. About 4.6 billion years ago, the Sun was born in a cloud of gas and dust. Amid this chaotic dance of matter, asteroids began to take shape. But why are they so important? Their composition, which includes metals and minerals, was fundamental in the process that gave rise to the planets. Without these celestial bodies, Earth as we know it might not exist. The story of how our solar system formed is a fascinating tale. As asteroids collided and merged, larger bodies were generated, and thus, little by little, planets came to life. But these cosmic encounters were not merely accidents, they were the result of a game of gravity and energy. Can you imagine the force behind those collisions? It was like an orchestra where each note represents an impact that could change a planet's fate. Gravity, that force that keeps us anchored to the ground, also played a crucial role in the creation of the planets. It attracted materials toward the center, allowing them to accumulate and form celestial bodies. In this grand theater of the universe, asteroids were the protagonists in the race to become planets. But what happens when these building blocks accumulate in one place? That's where we find the asteroid belt. This belt, located between Mars and Jupiter, is a cosmic graveyard of bodies that never became planets. Instead of colliding and merging, many of these rocks remain as silent witnesses to what could have been. But they are not just rocks, they are fragments of the history of the solar system. Have you ever imagined what they could tell us if they could speak? Asteroids are not just lifeless rocks, their diversity is astonishing. Some are rich in metals, others contain ice or even have moons orbiting them. Each one is unique, like an individual in a vast cosmic community. But did you know that some asteroids might have been responsible for bringing water to Earth? This vital element, essential for life, could have arrived on our planet through asteroid impacts. It's as if these celestial bodies were messengers of water. The history of our planet is marked by these impacts. And not just on Earth. The Moon has also been shaped by asteroid bombardment. Have you ever gazed at the lunar surface and wondered how those craters were formed? Each one tells a story of cosmic encounters that have shaped our solar system. However, not all encounters were benign. One of the most catastrophic events in the history of our planet was the impact of an asteroid that led to the extinction of the dinosaurs. This singular event changed the trajectory of evolution on Earth. Isn't it fascinating to think about how a single impact could alter the course of life on our planet? Despite their destructive potential, asteroids can also be seen as bearers of life. How is that possible? Many scientists believe that asteroids may have brought the basic components necessary for life on Earth. They are like small time capsules containing secrets about the origin of life. Can you imagine that? Inside them, they hold the key to our own beginning. Looking to the future, we face the need to prepare for possible asteroid impacts. Planetary defense has become a priority, and more strategies are being studied to prevent disasters. Are we doing enough to protect our home? Technology is advancing, and with it, our tools to monitor and track these wandering bodies. Space surveillance is crucial. We use telescopes and radars to detect asteroids that could pose a threat. Each discovery brings us one step closer to understanding this vast universe and protecting our planet. But what if these asteroids could become a valuable resource? Asteroid mining is beginning to emerge as a possible future. Could we extract metals and minerals from these celestial bodies? As we dream big, the colonization of space becomes a possibility. Asteroids could be used to build human colonies on other worlds. Imagine a future where humans live on Mars or on asteroids, exploring new horizons. Is it possible that one day we will be an interplanetary species? Finally, the search for other Earth-like worlds leads us to question our solitude in the universe. Are we really alone in this vast cosmos? The answers may be hidden in the very asteroids that surround us. Each one is a reminder of our connection to space and our place in it. Through this exploration of asteroids, we see their duality. They are both creators and destroyers. They have influenced the creation of life as well as its extinction. In this immense cosmic theatre, asteroids remind us that although we are small, we are part of something much larger. The story of our planet and that of the universe are intertwined, and as we look to the sky, we can feel the connection we all share with the stars and the asteroids that traverse space. For millions of years, the cosmos has been in constant transformation, and at the heart of this story are the asteroids. These fascinating rocky bodies floating silently in space are much more than mere lost stones. Did you know they are considered the building blocks of our planets, including Earth? Throughout this journey, we will explore how these ancient travelers of space have been fundamental in the creation of our home. Asteroids are like the bricks of a house, but how is it possible that a collection of rocks can give rise to an entire planet? To understand this, it is crucial to go back in time to an era when the solar system was in its infancy. In its early days, everything was composed of a cloud of gas and cosmic dust. As this cloud began to collapse under its own gravity, small particles started to come together. Thus, asteroids began to form, accumulating matter and growing, just like a snowball rolling down a slope, collecting more and more snow along the way. As these asteroids came together, collisions occurred. Imagine a game of billiards where each ball collides with another, generating new trajectories. Each impact between asteroids was an opportunity for them to group together more and more. In fact, some of these asteroids, by colliding and merging, managed to become larger planets. Can you imagine what it would be like to witness this cosmic spectacle? A dance of rocks and dust, creating something much larger and more complex. In this process, Earth, like all planets, was the result of countless collisions between asteroids. Have you ever wondered what would have happened if those asteroids hadn't been there? Without them, the formation of Earth would have been a completely different process if it had occurred at all. Thus, asteroids are not just wandering stones. They are the forgotten heroes of planetary creation. The nature of asteroids is also astonishing. Some are rich in metals, while others are composed of ice or rock. This diversity of materials is crucial. Each type of asteroid contributes something unique to the creation of planets. For example, icy asteroids may have helped bring water to our planet, an essential component for life. So they are not only building blocks but also providers of vital resources. Imagine a vast cosmic workshop where these asteroids are designing and constructing Earth. Each of them, with its own composition and characteristics, plays a role in a process that takes billions of years. In that workshop, gravity acts as the foreman, guiding each asteroid toward its destination. This gravitational pull ensures that the pieces stay together and that the chaos of space turns into order. It is interesting to think that asteroids were not only part of Earth's past, but also continue to influence our present and future. Every time we look at the starry sky, we are gazing into a time and space where these cosmic bodies left their mark. What secrets do they hold? What else could they teach us about the formation of our planet and the universe in general? Research on asteroids has grown exponentially in recent years. Each space mission sent to study them brings us closer to understanding their role in Earth's history. The images and data we obtain from these missions reveal a world we could only imagine before. They are like letters from an ancient past, telling us how our home was formed and how asteroids were key players in this story. Therefore, asteroids are much more than floating rocks in space. They are the remnants of the solar system's history, each holding fragments of information about Earth's creation. Can you imagine what it would mean for us to discover a new asteroid that contains clues about our own existence? Each new piece of information could change our perception of how it all began. As we continue to explore and learn about these celestial bodies, it becomes evident that their importance goes beyond planet formation. Asteroids are a reminder of the dynamics of the universe, of how matter groups together and transforms. They are the remnants of a primordial time, silent witnesses to the evolution of the cosmos. Asteroids teach us about the fragility and strength of our planet. They are a symbol of the balance between creation and destruction. In their wandering trajectories, they carry stories of collisions that forged not only Earth but also other worlds. All of this leads us to reflect on our place in the universe and the connection we have with these celestial bodies. So the next time you look up at the sky and see a shooting star, remember that what you are contemplating is a fragment of that cosmic story. It may be a small asteroid, but its impact on the formation of Earth is immense. And although they are invisible to the naked eye, their legacy endures in every corner of our planet, reminding us that we are part of a vast and fascinating universe. The solar system is like a vast orchestra where each instrument has its place and moment to shine. But what role do asteroids play in this cosmic symphony? For billions of years, these small bodies have been witnesses and actors in the formation of our home, Earth. It all begins in a vast disk of gas and dust slowly rotating around the young sun, a kind of primordial nebula where gravity began to work its magic. When the planets formed, it was not a simple process. Imagine stacking building blocks. At first, there is just a jumble of disordered pieces, but as the pieces come together and combine, they start to form larger and more complex structures. Similarly, asteroids began to group together, merging with other bodies to create planets. These asteroids were the fundamental bricks, the building blocks that, over time, would shape our world. Earth formed about 5 billion years ago, a time when chaos reigned in the solar system. Gravity acted like a magnet, pulling dust and rocks toward the center. But where did all that material come from? Asteroids were responsible for bringing the necessary matter to create Earth. Each one, upon colliding and merging with others, contributed to the formation of an increasingly larger and more stable planet. But asteroids were not only important for the creation of Earth, they also played a crucial role in the formation of other planets in the solar system. Have you ever seen how mountains form from the pressure and movement of tectonic plates? In space, gravity and collisions between asteroids have a similar effect, accumulating material and forming celestial bodies. Without asteroids, the planets as we know them would not exist. It's fascinating to think that those small rocky objects wandering through space are in essence the pieces that make us who we are. They are like the ingredients of a cosmic recipe. What if instead of asteroids there were only gas and dust? Without asteroids, Earth would never have had the chance to form as a solid and habitable planet. It serves as a reminder that often the smallest things can have a monumental impact. However, the path to the formation of Earth was not a smooth journey. Throughout its history, our planet has been bombarded by asteroids multiple times. Each collision is like a chapter in a book of cosmic adventures. Some of these collisions helped shape the Earth's surface, while others may have brought essential elements such as water. What if I told you that, in a sense, asteroids not only built Earth but also nourished it? The story of the formation of the solar system is full of surprises, and asteroids are protagonists in every twist of the plot. As the planets formed, the asteroid belt, located between Mars and Jupiter, became a place where planetary formation did not reach completion. Imagine a group of friends playing to build sandcastles on the beach. Some manage to make tall and strong castles, while others remain as small mounds that never become large. This is how asteroids remained in the belt, a graveyard of celestial bodies that failed to become planets. Asteroids also tell us stories about the early days of our solar system. By studying their composition and characteristics, scientists can unravel the secrets of how Earth and the other planets formed. Each asteroid is like an ancient book that holds valuable information about the history of our home. Who could imagine that a small piece of rock could contain so much knowledge about the past? Collisions between asteroids, besides being an interesting event, are crucial for understanding how planets formed. Each impact is like a spark in a construction workshop where new ideas are forged and new structures are created. As asteroids collide with each other, they break apart and merge, creating larger bodies. This process, repeated over and over, is what allowed Earth to acquire its current shape. In summary, asteroids are more than just floating rocks in space. They are the building blocks that gave life to our planet. Without them, Earth would not exist. So the next time you look up at the night sky and see stars, remember that there is so much more beyond what you can see. There is a vast universe full of stories, and asteroids are the narrators of the tale of Earth's formation. In the vast theatre of the cosmos, where the stars twinkle with stories of ancient times, a cosmic dance unfolds that has shaped our solar system. In this stage, asteroids play a leading role, but how is it that these rocky bodies, which seem like mere wandering rocks, hold so much power in the creation of planets? The answer lies in understanding how collisions between them are crucial for the formation of worlds like ours. Imagine for a moment that you are on a highway. Two cars are in a race, each accelerating toward the same point. When they collide, the wreckage combines and can give rise to a new vehicle. In space, something similar happens with asteroids. These blocks of rock and metal meet and collide, merging in the process. The collisions are like those races where asteroids seek to join together to form something larger and more significant. But what causes these collisions? The answer lies in gravity, a force that not only keeps planets in orbit, but also attracts asteroids to one another. When one asteroid approaches another, gravity acts like a magnet, pulling them together and often leading them to collide. This process of accumulation and collision is fundamental, as each impact is one step closer to the formation of a planet. Isn't it fascinating to think that this is how worlds are created? As asteroids collide, their fragments group together and become larger bodies. Think of a puzzle. Each piece is an asteroid, and by putting them together, a complete picture forms. Thus, the solar system began to take shape billions of years ago. With each collision, asteroids became the foundations of what we now know as planets. Imagine the energy released in each collision, just like a car accident where the energy of the impact can change the fate of the vehicles involved. In space, the energy from these collisions can be monumental. However, unlike accidents on Earth, here each impact offers an opportunity for creation. The union of asteroids not only leads to planets, but can also generate moons and other celestial bodies. But what happens to the asteroids that fail to merge? Some remain as solitary witnesses to this cosmic story, orbiting in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, a place where most bodies did not manage to become planets. This belt is like a graveyard of lost opportunities, where fragments and rocks tell us stories of what could have been. Each collision and each grouping not only shapes the landscape of space, but also molds the history of Earth. For example, many of the asteroids that collided with our planet during its formation brought with them elements that are now essential for life. This is how impacts become protagonists not only in the creation of worlds, but also in creating conditions for life itself. Imagine that each asteroid is a messenger from the past, carrying with it the stories of a time when planets were in their infancy. The history of Earth is marked by these cosmic encounters. Without them, it's possible that our planet would not exist as we know it today. Have you ever wondered what would happen if an asteroid hadn't collided with Earth at just the right moment? The relationship between asteroids and planets is, in a sense, a game of chance. Some asteroids become large planets, while others end up as wandering fragments. This game of collisions and mergers is what has led to the diversity of celestial bodies we observe in our solar system. How do moons form? Many of them are the result of these encounters, creating a network of relationships between asteroids and planets. As time moves on, collisions continue. In every corner of space, Asteroids keep colliding, forming and reforming the cosmic landscape. Each impact is a reminder that the universe is in constant evolution. Could it be that we are in the midst of a new era of creation? Only time will tell. The next time you look at the starry sky, remember that every star and every planet you see is the result of a long and tumultuous process of collisions. The story of the formation of our solar system is a tale of encounters and separations, where asteroids are the main actors. The dance of asteroids, their collisions, and their role in the creation of worlds is a testament to how, in the vast universe, even rocks can be the architects of the grand. When we think about the vast universe, it's easy to get lost in the immensity of space. But what really holds the structure of planets together? The answer lies in a fundamental force, gravity. This phenomenon, which we often take for granted in our daily lives, is the true architect of the cosmos. Imagine gravity as a giant magnet that pulls everything toward the center of a celestial body. But how does this invisible power really work? Gravity not only keeps our feet firmly planted on the Earth, but it also plays a crucial role in the formation of planets. From cosmic dust in the darkest corners of space to large asteroids, everything begins to come together because of this force. As small particles attract each other, they start to accumulate, forming clumps of matter that grow larger and larger. Can you imagine how, from those small groups, bodies as gigantic as Earth can emerge? Asteroids, those small rocky worlds floating between Mars and Jupiter, are witnesses to this process. Each of them is a piece of the puzzle that makes up our solar system, but why are they so important? When they collide and merge, these asteroids not only help form planets but also provide essential materials for life. Gravity acts as the glue that holds everything together, allowing these objects to become something greater. Visualize a game of bowling. When you roll the ball, some pins fall and cluster together, forming a new shape. That's how gravity works in space. When asteroids collide, they break apart and come back together, creating new celestial bodies. A small asteroid impacting another can give rise to a planet in formation, but how many impacts are needed to form an entire planet? Every collision counts. Imagine that every time an asteroid crashes into another, layers of matter are forming that gradually become a world. Gravity is responsible for attracting these layers and keeping them together. Without this force, it would be impossible for asteroids to unite, and the creation of planets would be a distant dream. Have you ever thought about how extraordinary it would be if gravity didn't exist? The accumulation of material in space is not a linear process. It's not like building a tower of blocks where each piece is carefully placed on top of the other. In space, gravity causes some blocks to attract each other strongly, while others may be repelled. This chaos is, in fact, essential for planet formation, as it allows for the creation of different sizes and compositions of celestial bodies. As asteroids cluster together, gravity also influences their temperature. When objects collide, energy is released in the form of heat. This not only causes asteroids to melt and mix, but also creates conditions that can lead to the formation of more complex elements essential for life. Did you know that the elements that make up our bodies, like carbon and oxygen, come from these processes in space? Gravity also shapes the orbits of planets. As a planet forms, its gravity attracts nearby objects, creating a dynamic system. Asteroids that fail to join a planet are pushed into other trajectories, forming asteroid belts like the one we find between Mars and Jupiter. But what would happen if these asteroids began to approach Earth? The study of gravity and its influence on planetary formation is not only fascinating, but also vital for our understanding of how our solar system might evolve in the future. Gravity serves as a constant reminder that, even though we are on Earth, we are connected to the cosmos. Every asteroid, every collision, every merger contributes to our existence. In the grand scheme of the universe, gravity is the thread that ties everything together. Without it, we would be lost in a sea of matter without direction. So the next time you look up at the starry sky, remember that every star, every planet, and every asteroid is there thanks to the powerful force of gravity. This wonder of the cosmos has not only shaped our home Earth, but also invites us to continue exploring and understanding our place in the universe. Who knows what other secrets gravity holds? Perhaps in the future, we will discover that this force is not only responsible for the formation of planets, but may also be the key to understanding other cosmic phenomena. Human curiosity about space and our existence is infinite, and gravity is just the beginning of a journey that we are only starting to understand. In this vast cosmic stage, every question can open the door to new answers. In the vast cosmic ocean that surrounds us, there is a fascinating region that often goes unnoticed, the asteroid belt. This place, located between Mars and Jupiter, is like a graveyard of fragments of matter that once dreamed of becoming planets. But what happened for these celestial bodies not to reach their potential? Why did they remain there, floating in space? Imagine a huge cosmic puzzle. At first, there were many pieces in motion, all trying to fit together. Gravity, that force we feel on Earth, acted like a conductor, guiding the formation of the solar system. However, in this process, some asteroids were pushed into positions where they could never become planets. Instead of joining forces with other celestial bodies, they became trapped in the limbo of the asteroid belt. This belt is not just a place of waste, it is a treasure trove of information about the early days of our solar system. Each asteroid is a time capsule preserving the conditions and materials from billions of years ago. By studying these rocks, scientists can gain clues about how Earth and the other planets formed. What secrets could these ancient space travelers reveal to us? Most of the asteroids in the belt are small, but there are some that are true giants. One of the largest is Ceres, which is not only an asteroid but is also considered a dwarf planet. What makes Ceres so special? For one, it contains water in the form of ice, which has led scientists to speculate about the possibility that it could one day harbour life. But is it just a distant dream, or is there more to this fascinating world? Among the asteroids, we can find a surprising diversity. Not all are the same. Some are composed mainly of metals, while others are rich in carbon and organic elements. This variety gives us insight into the different processes that occurred during the birth of the solar system. Have you ever thought about how these differences might influence the possibility of life elsewhere in the cosmos? Often asteroids are thought of as just inert rocks, but in reality, they are dynamic entities that interact with each other. Sometimes they collide, and these collisions can generate fragments that initiate new paths in space. What would happen if an asteroid in the belt were diverted toward Earth? The answer to this question is crucial for our understanding of planetary defense. The asteroid belt is also a reminder of the chaotic forces that shaped our solar system. Imagine a field of ice and rocks, where cosmic winds blow and push. The gravitational interactions between Jupiter and the asteroids have created a constantly changing environment, where some bodies approach Earth while others are hurled into the abyss of space. How can we predict these movements and protect our home? Astronomers have developed sophisticated tools to observe and map this belt. Thanks to telescopes and space probes, we have learned a lot about the composition of these asteroids and their history. The Dawn mission, for example, has provided valuable information about Vesta and Ceres, two of the largest asteroids in the belt. What surprising discoveries have these explorations brought us? The importance of the asteroid belt goes beyond science. In the not-too-distant future, these bodies could become a valuable resource for humanity. With the possibility of extracting minerals and other resources, asteroids could play a crucial role in the space economy. Are we prepared to take advantage of what the asteroid belt has to offer? As we reflect on the asteroid belt, it is essential to remember its history and significance. This place recalls a time when the universe was forming, full of possibilities, as we continue to explore and understand these celestial bodies. We draw closer to unraveling the mysteries of the cosmos and our place within it. The asteroid belt is not just an empty space, it is a reminder that, although some dreams of becoming planets did not come to fruition, they still hold immense importance. Each asteroid tells a story, and those stories are part of the narrative of our own planet. Looking to the future, what new stories will these ancient travelers tell us about the universe and our existence? Human curiosity drives us to explore, to learn, and to understand. As we continue to unravel the secrets of the asteroid belt, we keep alive the hope that one day we will understand not only our past, but also our future in the vast universe. So every time you look at the stars, remember that among them there is a place full of stories and mysteries waiting to be discovered. Asteroids are much more than just simple rocks floating in the vast space. Although they may seem small and uninteresting from a distance, they are actually fascinating celestial bodies that possess great diversity. Did you know that some asteroids are so large that they could have their own system of moons? These space rocks come in different shapes, sizes, and compositions, making them true treasures in our solar system. Some asteroids are primarily composed of metals such as nickel and iron. Imagine a gigantic block of metal floating in space. These metallic asteroids could be the future of space mining, as they contain resources that could be valuable for humanity. But what about the asteroids that seem to be made of ice or organic materials? Some of them might have been responsible for bringing water to Earth, acting as messengers of life in the cosmos. Speaking of life, the diversity of asteroids also includes those that harbor chemical compounds essential for the formation of life. For example, some asteroids contain amino acids, which are the building blocks of proteins. Can you imagine that these small rocks brought the necessary ingredients for life to flourish on our planet? This opens a world of possibilities about the origin of life on Earth. The variety of asteroids can also be compared to a collection of different types of candies in a box. From the darkest asteroids, which appear almost charred, to the brightest ones, which reflect sunlight like a diamond. Each one has its own story, and studying them helps us better understand the past of the solar system. But how do we know so much about them if they are so far away? Space missions like the Dawn spacecraft have been crucial in unraveling the secrets of asteroids. This mission, which traveled to the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, provided us with crucial images and data about bodies like Vesta and Ceres. These explorations have allowed us to see up close what these asteroids are really like, revealing fascinating details that we could only imagine before. What other secrets do they hold? Some asteroids have such intriguing characteristics that they seem straight out of a science fiction movie. For example, there are asteroids that spin so fast that their shape resembles a flattened spheroid rather than a round rock. This is due to the centrifugal force acting on them. How did these peculiar structures form? The answer lies in their formation history, and each asteroid has a unique tale to tell. The formation of asteroids is a complex process that dates back to the beginnings of the solar system. After the Big Bang that gave rise to our solar system, remnants of dust and gas began to clump together. Some of these materials became planets, while others remained trapped as asteroids. This difference in formation is what makes each asteroid special. But why did some become planets while others did not? One reason could be related to gravity. Larger asteroids have enough gravity to attract more material towards them, and over time they can become planets. But those that did not reach that size remain as asteroids floating in space. It's as if some succeeded in a race while others fell behind. What does this mean for the future of these celestial bodies? Furthermore, not all asteroids are alone in space. Some have their own moons, giving them an even more picturesque appearance. These asteroid and moon systems are like little miniature worlds where gravity plays a crucial role in their cosmic dance. What would happen if we could explore one of these asteroid systems with moons? It would be like visiting a small solar system in itself. The diversity of asteroids is also a reminder that the universe is a place full of surprises. Each new discovery teaches us more about the history of our solar system and the processes that have shaped our home. Exploring these celestial bodies not only helps us understand our past, but also prepares us for the future. How would we utilize the resources of asteroids if one day we decided to explore them more thoroughly? The excitement of learning about asteroids lies not only in their diversity, but also in what they represent. They are fragments of the history of our solar system, reminders of how everything began and of the wonders that still await us. Each asteroid is like an open book with pages that we have yet to read. What stories will asteroids tell us in the future? In short, asteroids are much more than simple rocks. They are witnesses to the creation of our solar system and bearers of secrets that could change our understanding of life and the universe. The next time you look up at the sky and see a bright star, remember that perhaps, somewhere in the vast darkness of space, an asteroid is waiting to be discovered, ready to reveal its story. And you? Would you dare to explore the fascinating world of asteroids? NASA's Dawn mission is one of the most exciting adventures in space exploration. What makes it so special? This mission was designed to visit and study two of the largest bodies in the asteroid belt, Vesta and Ceres. But why are these asteroids so important? The answer lies in the fact that they offer us a window into the beginnings of our solar system, revealing secrets that could help us better understand the formation of Earth and the other planets. Dawn was launched in 2007 and after a fascinating journey arrived at Vesta in 2011. This asteroid is a true treasure trove of information, as it is believed to be a relic from primordial times. By studying its surface, scientists found a variety of geological features that tell stories about the history of the solar system. Can you imagine what it is like to see traces of ancient impacts and mountains that formed billions of years ago? Every corner of Vesta is like an open book narrating our cosmic past. One of the questions that arose during the mission was, how did Vesta form? Scientists believe that this asteroid developed from the same material that formed the planets but became trapped in the asteroid belt. This means that Vesta is a witness to a history that never became a planet. The exploration of Vesta also helped us better understand the formation process of other celestial bodies in our solar system. After spending a year at Vesta, Dawn continued its journey to Ceres, the largest object in the asteroid belt. But why is Ceres so fascinating? This asteroid is unique because it is believed to harbour water in the form of ice beneath its surface. Imagine being able to find water in a place where we previously only saw rocks and dust. Scientists have speculated that Ceres could even have conditions that favour life. Could it be a potential home for humans in the future? Research on Ceres could revolutionize our understanding of life on other worlds. The arrival at Ceres was an exciting moment. Dawn became the first spacecraft to orbit an asteroid. In doing so, it was able to take detailed images and collect data about its composition and geology. The results were surprising. The surface of Ceres is full of craters, but it also features intriguing characteristics such as bright white spots that have left scientists puzzled. What are those spots? Some suggest they could be deposits of salt or even ice. The answer to this question could change our view of the formation of celestial bodies. As Dawn studied Ceres, scientists began to understand more about the history of this asteroid and its relationship with water. This leads us to an intriguing question. Could asteroids like Ceres have played a crucial role in bringing water to Earth? The hypothesis suggests that in the early days of the solar system, asteroids could have collided with our planet, transporting water and other essential elements for life. Thus, Ceres becomes a key player in the narrative about the origin of water on Earth. The Dawn mission has not only expanded our knowledge of Vesta and Ceres, but has also revolutionized our understanding of asteroids in general. Before this mission, many of them were considered mere floating rocks in space. Now we know they are complex bodies with rich and varied histories. Who would have thought that those tiny points of light in the sky could hold so many secrets about our origins? Throughout its mission, Dawn utilized an innovative technology called ion propulsion, which allowed it to travel efficiently and reach its destination. This opens the door to new possibilities for future space missions. What other wonders could we discover in our solar system with technologies like this? Space exploration is constantly evolving, and each mission brings us one step closer to unraveling the mysteries of the universe. The story of Dawn is a reminder that there is still much to discover. Every asteroid, every moon, and every planet has a story to tell. But how can we ensure that these stories continue to be told as we advance in space exploration? It is essential that we think about the impact our actions will have on the cosmos. Human curiosity drives us to seek answers, but we must also be responsible in our quest. The Dawn mission concluded in 2019. But its legacy endures. The data collected continues to be analyzed, and the findings keep inspiring new generations of scientists. Who knows what exciting discoveries await us in the future? The exploration of the asteroid belt has only just begun, and there is much more to learn. As we reflect on the Dawn mission, it is essential to remember that each asteroid has the potential to unveil something extraordinary. From the stories of their formation to the possibilities they offer for the future. Asteroids are a bridge between the past and the future of humanity. How will this change our perception of space and our place in it? The answer is in our hands, and the adventure is just beginning. Where did the water that covers more than 70% of our planet come from? This question has intrigued scientists for centuries. Earth, a place where life flourishes, has a vital resource, water. But could it be that asteroids, those small rocky bodies that roam space, played a fundamental role in its arrival? Asteroids are like the water bottles of the universe navigating the vastness of space. Some of them are believed to contain significant amounts of water in the form of ice. Just as ancient explorers ventured into unknown oceans in search of new lands, asteroids have traversed space for billions of years, carrying with them the necessary ingredients for life. But how did those asteroids become the bearers of water? As the solar system formed, asteroids grouped in different regions. Some traveled close to the sun, while others moved to colder areas where water could freeze. Over time, these icy bodies became true ice trucks. When they collided with Earth in its infancy, they brought not only water but also organic compounds that are essential for life. Who would have thought that those small wandering rocks would be the messengers of life? The idea that asteroids may have brought water to our planet is not only fascinating, but it also raises questions about Earth's history. What type of asteroids would be responsible for this gift? Scientists have identified several types, but the most interesting are the C-type asteroids, which are rich in carbon and water. Their composition suggests that they could have been the main suppliers of the water we know today. Imagine a great cosmic puzzle. Each asteroid represents a piece that, when joined together, forms the complete picture of Earth as we know it. Without the arrival of those water-laden asteroids, the history of the planet could have been very different. Life, as we understand it, might never have had the chance to emerge. It's as if water was the secret ingredient that allowed everything to flourish. Studies on the composition of asteroids have been fundamental in understanding this process. Space missions have allowed us to gather valuable information. For example, the Japanese Hayabusa probe delivered samples from an asteroid that contained water. This finding reinforces the theory that these celestial bodies are not just rocks, but true cosmic treasures that may have played a crucial role in the formation of our home. But how much of this water is still present on Earth? Over the eons, the planet has undergone drastic changes, but a portion of that water has remained. Oceans, rivers, and lakes are witnesses to those ancient collisions. However, we must also consider that water is not solely a product of asteroids. Part of it comes from internal processes of the Earth, such as volcanic outgassing. The combination of these sources has given rise to the water cycle we know today. Now let's think about the future. If asteroids were able to bring us water, could they also be the key to water on other planets? Space exploration is advancing by leaps and bounds. Scientists are considering the possibility of using asteroids as sources of water for future human colonies on Mars or beyond. This opens up a range of possibilities for how we could live on other worlds. The connection between asteroids and water also leads us to reflect on the possibility of life elsewhere in the universe. If asteroids have been able to carry water and organic compounds to Earth, could they have done the same on other planets? What secrets do those celestial bodies hold on their icy surfaces? The search for life in the universe is more alive than ever, and asteroids are a fundamental part of this quest. Moreover, the study of asteroids not only prompts us to reflect on the past, but also invites us to think about the future. Asteroid mining is a concept that has gained traction in recent years. The possibility of extracting water and other resources from these celestial bodies could provide solutions for humanity, especially as our resources on Earth become more limited. Water is an essential resource not only for life but also for space exploration. The possibility of using asteroids as sources of water could completely change our way of thinking about space colonization. Imagine a space station that uses water from a nearby asteroid to supply its inhabitants. This could make a long-term human presence in space possible. As we reflect on the relationship between asteroids and water, it becomes clear that these celestial bodies are much more than mere floating rocks. They are bearers of life, witnesses to the history of the solar system, and potential allies in our quest for space colonization. The connection between water and asteroids reminds us that, in the vast universe, everything is interconnected in ways we are just beginning to understand. The next time you look at the starry sky, think of those asteroids wandering through space. Perhaps one of them is the bearer of water, the very liquid that has allowed life to flourish on Earth. The history of our planet is intertwined with these cosmic travelers, and their legacy continues to live on, inviting us to explore, discover, and learn more about the universe we inhabit. The impact of an asteroid may seem like a distant event, something out of science fiction movies. But did you know that one of those impacts was responsible for the extinction of the dinosaurs? This event, which occurred about 66 million years ago, not only marked the end of an era but also transformed the history of life on Earth. Imagine a gigantic asteroid about 10 kilometers wide, traveling at an incredible speed and heading towards our planet. The moment of the collision was devastating, releasing energy equivalent to millions of atomic bombs. But what really happened after that titanic crash? When the asteroid struck what we now know as the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, it created a crater over 150 kilometers in diameter. This cataclysmic event generated a series of chain reactions that drastically altered the planet's climate. The explosion lifted a massive amount of dust and debris into space, creating darkness that covered the sun for months. Can you imagine living in a world where daylight disappears? Photosynthesis stopped, temperatures dropped, and flora and fauna began to die. Darkness and cold were not the only problems faced by Earth's inhabitants. Heat waves, triggered by the impact itself, swept away everything in their path. Within hours, life as the dinosaurs knew it was disintegrating. But what does this mean for the evolution of life on our planet? The extinction of these giants brought an opportunity for other living beings. Without dinosaurs dominating the ecosystem, mammals were able to thrive, leading to the diversity we know today. Moreover, this catastrophic event impacted the formation of the world we inhabit. Conditions became favorable for the emergence of new species, including our ancestors. But who could have imagined that a single impact could change the course of the history of life on Earth? Figuratively speaking, the asteroid that brought destruction also sowed the seeds of modern life. Scientists have studied this event for decades, trying to understand how an asteroid could have such power over our planet. Through various investigations, they have concluded that the impact was not an isolated event. Throughout Earth's history, there have been other significant impacts that have also influenced the evolution of life. Each of them left its mark, like an artist imprinting their style on each masterpiece. The Moon, our natural satellite, bears witness to these impacts. Its surface is filled with craters, reminders of a violent past in the solar system. But what lessons can we learn from these events? Earth's history is intertwined with asteroids, and each collision tells a story about how the universe has shaped our home. On the other hand, the relationship between asteroids and Earth goes beyond destruction. It has been hypothesized that some asteroids may have brought water to our planet. This water was essential for the emergence of life. Could it be that asteroids, once seen as harbingers of destruction, were also bearers of life? This duality is fascinating and raises many questions about our place in the cosmos. However, not everything is fatalism. The story of an asteroid impact invites us to reflect on our vulnerability and the need to prepare for the future. Today's scientists are working hard to track objects in space that could threaten Earth. What measures are we taking to protect our home? Planetary defense has become a crucial topic today as humanity seeks to understand and mitigate the risks posed by the cosmos. Despite the dangers they represent, asteroids also offer opportunities. With advances in technology, asteroid mining has become a real possibility. Imagine extracting valuable resources from these celestial bodies. Could we be looking towards a future where asteroids are more than just rocks in space, but a source of wealth for humanity? This great cycle of destruction and creation is a reminder that the universe is in constant change. Earth's history is just a small part of a broader cosmic narrative. It invites us to ask, what other unexpected events does the future hold? As we continue to explore space, we must remember that our planet is a fragile place in a vast universe, full of surprises and mysteries to discover. The story of asteroids and their relationship with Earth gives us a unique perspective on our existence. It reminds us that each day is an opportunity to learn and grow, both as individuals and as a species. Life on Earth is a precious gift, and understanding our history helps us appreciate it even more. So the next time you look at the starry sky, remember that each star and each asteroid has a story to tell, and that we are part of that story. What if I told you that the history of life on Earth as we know it was forever altered by the impact of an asteroid? That catastrophic event, which occurred about 65 million years ago, not only marked the end of the dinosaurs but also opened the doors to the evolution of new species, including mammals and eventually humans. But how did all this happen? The Earth in its youth was a very different place. Dinosaurs were the kings of the planet, dominating ecosystems for millions of years. However, their reign ended abruptly in what is known as the Cretaceous Paleogene mass extinction. An asteroid about 10 kilometers in diameter hurtled toward our planet at a devastating speed. Imagine a freight train traveling at 1,000 kilometers per hour. But instead of cargo, it's a rock from space carrying unimaginable destruction potential. The impact had immediate and catastrophic consequences. The energy released was equivalent to the explosion of millions of atomic bombs. The collision created a crater on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, which can still be observed today. But what happened to the climate and environment after this event? The answer is that the impact lifted a massive amount of dust and debris that darkened the sky. For months, sunlight was blocked, leading to a drastic drop in temperatures. That prolonged night was the beginning of the end for many species that depended on photosynthesis to survive. Imagine a vast ocean of vegetation wilting and dying due to the lack of light. Without plants, herbivores could not feed, and without them, carnivores also succumbed. This domino effect altered the entire food chain, leading to the extinction of approximately 75% of the planet's species. But why was this event so crucial for future evolution? The extinction of the dinosaurs left a significant ecological void. Mammals, which until then had been small nocturnal creatures, had the opportunity to fill that space. With the disappearance of the giants, mammals began to diversify and adapt to new ecological niches. This is how, in a world without dinosaurs, the first species began to evolve that would eventually lead to the emergence of humans. You might wonder, can a single event change the fate of a planet? The answer is a resounding yes. This impact not only wiped out a large part of life, but also allowed new forms of life to emerge. It's as if the Earth, after a great fire, began to regenerate more vigorously. Thus, life found its way, taking forms and adapting to the new environments that arose after the catastrophe. The story of the extinction of the dinosaurs is not just a tale of destruction, but also of rebirth. The mammals, which had remained in the shadows of the age of dinosaurs, became the protagonists of the new world. This transition shows us that life is incredibly resilient. But what lessons can we learn from this story? First, the vulnerability of our Earth to cosmic impacts. Every day our planet is bombarded by small space rocks, but most disintegrate in the atmosphere. However, larger asteroids, like the one that caused the extinction of the dinosaurs, serve as a reminder that we are not completely safe. As we advance in our understanding of space, we must also consider how to protect our home from potential threats. The story of the extinction of the dinosaurs invites us to reflect on our own existence and the fragility of life. The Earth has suffered catastrophes in the past, and it has always recovered. But what does that mean for us humans? We are in a unique position to learn from history and take steps to protect our future. The next time you look at the starry sky, remember that there is not only beauty in the cosmos, but also hidden dangers that could change the course of history. Through research and technology, we can anticipate and possibly deflect the course of an asteroid threatening our planet. It is a challenge we face, but also an opportunity to unite as a species and protect what we love. The story of the extinction of the dinosaurs is a powerful reminder that change can be abrupt and unexpected. However, it also teaches us that new opportunities can arise from destruction. The Earth has proven to be a place of renewal and transformation, and we, as its inhabitants, have the responsibility to care for and protect our home. So the next time you hear about asteroids and their destructive potential, remember also the potential of these events to give rise to new lives and new stories. The story of the extinction of the dinosaurs is just a part of the vast narrative of the universe, a story that continues to be written every second. Throughout the history of Earth, asteroids have been silent witnesses to our origin. However, their role could be much deeper and more surprising than we imagine. Could these rocky bodies have been the messengers of life itself? The idea that asteroids may have transported the essential ingredients for life leads us to a fascinating reflection. How is it possible that rocks lost in the vastness of space played such a crucial role in the creation of life on our planet? When we think of life, we often associate it with water, chemical elements, and the right conditions. But where did those elements come from? In this vast universe, asteroids are like cosmic factories, filled with organic compounds and water. Some asteroids, known as carbonaceous asteroids, contain compounds that are the basic building blocks of life: amino acids, sugars, and other organic molecules. Can you imagine that these small wandering worlds were responsible for sowing the seed of life on Earth? The theory that asteroids may have brought water to our planet is intriguing. During their journeys through the solar system, some asteroids may have veered toward Earth, bringing with them the water that would later accumulate in oceans and rivers. But how much of what we know today as water could be due to those ancient space travelers? It is fascinating to think that, in their trajectories, these mostly inert asteroids could have become carriers of a vital resource. In addition to water, asteroids have been the subject of study due to their chemical composition. It is believed that some asteroids have a chemistry very similar to that of comets, which are also considered possible carriers of life. What other secrets might be hidden inside those celestial bodies? Perhaps there is still much to discover, and each space mission sent to explore asteroids brings us a little closer to understanding our own origin. The diversity of asteroids is astounding. Some are rich in metals, others in ice, and still others in organic compounds. This variety suggests that the universe has been working for billions of years to create the necessary conditions for life. What if these asteroids, with their different compositions, were responsible for creating the environment conducive to life flourishing? The idea is intriguing and leads us to consider the possibility that life is not an exclusive phenomenon of Earth. The connection between asteroids and life is not just a matter of theory. As technology advances, we have begun to find evidence that some asteroids contain the necessary ingredients for life. During the Hayabusa spacecraft mission, which collected samples from the Itokawa asteroid, organic compounds were found. This raises the question, could they be part of a larger puzzle that helps us understand how life began on our planet and whether there is life elsewhere? The implications of this research are immense. If asteroids have been carriers of life, then what does that mean for our search for life on other planets? Could it be that we are not alone in the universe, but that there are other worlds that have been seeded with life thanks to these celestial bodies? The possibility that life is a common phenomenon in the cosmos transforms our perception of the universe and our place in it. Imagine a future where we can travel to asteroids and collect samples not only to study their composition but also to search for signs of life, no matter how small. Space exploration thus becomes the search for our roots, an attempt to understand where we come from and where we are going. As we move forward, each discovery about asteroids may be another step towards solving one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Reflecting on all this, it is evident that asteroids are much more than mere floating rocks in space. They are key pieces of a cosmic puzzle that, with each new finding, allows us to see the universe with new eyes. Perhaps one day we will discover that we are part of an interconnected web of life, where asteroids play a fundamental role in the history of many worlds. Every time we look up at the starry sky, let us remember that those bright points are more than just lights. Some of them are asteroids that have been traveling for eons, carrying with them the history of life in the cosmos. In this sense, asteroids are the true bearers of life, connecting us not only with our past, but also with the future that awaits us among the stars. The adventure of exploring asteroids is not only a journey into the unknown, but also a quest for connection. Ultimately, each asteroid we study brings us a little closer to understanding the very essence of what it means to be alive in this vast and mysterious universe. The story of life may be written in the rocks of asteroids, waiting to be read by those who dare to look beyond our planet. The Earth has had a history full of surprises and challenges, and one of the most intriguing threats we face comes from space: asteroids. How can we protect our home from these giant rocks traveling at incredible speeds through the cosmos? Planetary defense has become a crucial topic, especially in a world where technology is advancing rapidly. But what does it really mean to defend our planet from an asteroid? The idea may seem straight out of a science fiction movie, but in reality, it is a very serious field of study. There are multiple strategies that scientists and experts are developing to prevent an asteroid from impacting the Earth. Imagine an asteroid as a high-speed train heading toward a station. If we do nothing, the train will crash. But what if we could divert its path before it reaches the station? That is the essence of planetary defense. One of the first questions that arises is, how do we know that an asteroid is heading toward us? The answer lies in our growing network of telescopes and radars. Every day, astronomers scan the sky for near-Earth objects. Did you know that thanks to modern technology, we can detect an asteroid the size of a car from thousands of kilometers away? This surveillance gives us a crucial advantage, as identifying a potential danger is the first step in mitigating it. Now, let's think about the different methods we could use to divert an asteroid. One of the most discussed approaches is the use of spacecraft that could collide with the asteroid. This method, known as kinetic impact, is like gently pushing someone in a direction so they don't fall. If we carefully calculate the timing and speed of the spacecraft, we could safely change the asteroid's trajectory. But how effective would this really be? Another strategy is the use of solar energy. Imagine a huge mirror in space that uses sunlight to heat a part of the asteroid. As it heats up, the material begins to shed, creating a kind of propulsion that could push the asteroid in a new direction. This method, although theoretical, is a fascinating example of how science can use nature to its advantage. However, it's not all that simple. Asteroid collisions are rare, and most of them do not pose an immediate threat. But should we wait for one to come close before taking action? The answer is no. Prevention is key, and that requires funding and international collaboration. Can you imagine countries around the world working together to protect humanity? This type of global cooperation is essential for the advancement of planetary defense. Moreover, we need to consider how to educate the public about these risks. Information and preparedness are fundamental. If people understand that an asteroid could impact the Earth, they are more likely to support defense initiatives. Wouldn't it be amazing to see communities actively involved in creating innovative solutions to this challenge? And let's not forget the potential of asteroid mining. Beyond defense, these celestial bodies can be a rich source of resources. If we can learn to divert asteroids, we could also think about extracting rare metals and other precious materials. Imagine that asteroid mining not only helps us protect ourselves, but also provides resources for a better life on Earth and in future space colonies. As we advance in our understanding of asteroids and their behavior, it also becomes clear that we must be prepared for the unexpected. The history of the Earth is filled with catastrophic events, and each has taught us something valuable about resilience. If an asteroid could cause a disaster, how could we react? Preparedness is essential, and that means having contingency plans in place. Research on asteroids not only focuses on how to protect ourselves, but also on how these bodies can offer clues about the formation of our solar system. Who would have thought that by studying asteroids, we could learn more about the origin of life on Earth? This knowledge could be vital for future interplanetary colonization efforts. On this journey towards safety and knowledge, it is essential that we maintain an open mindset. Science is a constantly evolving field, and ideas that seem impossible today could become reality tomorrow. By continuing to explore space and the asteroids that inhabit it, we are also exploring the limits of our own imagination and capability. Planetary defense is not just a technical challenge, it is also a human challenge. As we face the future, we must remember that every discovery and every advance comes with a responsibility. Are we ready to take on that responsibility? The answer does not only depend on scientists, but on all of us. The next time you look at the sky, remember that those asteroids, which seem so distant, are also part of our history and our future. The question that remains is, are we willing to prepare for the challenge and seize the opportunities they offer us? The history of humanity is full of moments of decision, and this could be one of them. Planetary defense and space exploration are not just scientific interests. They are a matter of survival and our ability to dream of a better future. The vastness of space is a captivating mystery, and within that immense cosmic ocean, asteroids play a fundamental role as guardians of the sky. But how do we know that these rocky bodies are not just wandering rocks in space? The answer lies in the technology we have developed to track them, a kind of safety net that protects us from any potential threat. The tools we use to watch the sky are as diverse as the asteroids themselves. Telescopes, for example, are our eyes in the universe. They can capture the light from objects that are millions of kilometers away, allowing us to observe asteroids that would otherwise remain hidden in the darkness of space. But what about asteroids that do not emit light? That's where radars come into play. Radar, which we commonly associate with aircraft detection, also has its place in astronomy. It works by sending radio waves toward asteroids and waiting for those waves to bounce back. This allows scientists to measure the distance, speed, and even the shape of these celestial bodies. Imagine throwing a stone into the water and hearing the echo of its impact. That's how radar helps us listen to what is happening in space. But why is it so crucial to keep track of asteroids? The answer can be alarming. Many of them orbit close to Earth, and while most are harmless, some have trajectories that could intersect with ours. Remember that a single significant impact in the past has changed the course of our planet's history. The extinction of the dinosaurs is a chilling reminder of what could happen if we are not prepared. So, what methods do we employ to identify and catalogue these objects? There are several tracking programs worldwide, such as the Near-Earth Object Surveillance Program. This colossal effort brings together astronomers and scientists from different countries who work together, using ground-based and space telescopes to detect asteroids and predict their trajectories. Technology has advanced so much that we can now calculate quite accurately whether an asteroid will pose a danger in the future. But what happens if one of these asteroids approaches dangerously? The answer is not simple and requires a multidisciplinary approach. From the scientific community to politics, everyone must be prepared to act. Imagine we detect an asteroid heading toward Earth. What can we do? There are several strategies, from deflecting it using a spacecraft to alter its course to preparing facilities on Earth to mitigate the impact. The idea of changing an asteroid's destiny may sound like science fiction, but today it is the subject of active research. Moreover, we are not only concerned about asteroids that could collide with Earth. Space surveillance also helps us understand the patterns of these celestial bodies, their composition, and their history. Each asteroid is like a cosmic fossil that tells us the story of the solar system. And as we learn more about them, we also learn more about our own planet and its evolution. International collaboration is essential in this effort. NASA, the European Space Agency, and other organizations are working together to create a planetary defense system. But how do they communicate with each other? Thanks to information technology, scientists can share data in real time, allowing for a quick response to any potential threat. Asteroid surveillance is not just a matter of security. It also has implications for space exploration. By studying these bodies, we can discover resources that could be valuable for future missions. Imagine that, instead of relying solely on Earth, astronauts could use resources from asteroids to build bases on other planets. Thus, surveillance becomes an open door to the future of humanity in space. As we delve deeper into the space age, the role of telescopes and radars becomes even more crucial. With each new discovery, new questions arise. What secrets do asteroids hold? What can we learn about the formation of the solar system and therefore about our own origin? It is a fascinating journey, and each advancement in technology brings us a little closer to understanding not only asteroids but our place in the universe. In the end, space surveillance is not just a matter of protection. It is an adventure that invites us to explore the unknown and imagine a future where humanity is part of a broader cosmic community. So the next time you look up at the starry sky, remember that there is more beyond what we can see. Asteroids, those building blocks of the universe, are out there waiting to be discovered and studied. And thanks to the technology we have developed, we have the opportunity to know them and understand their importance for the history of our planet and the future of humanity. The possibility of extracting valuable resources from asteroids is a topic that is beginning to capture the attention of scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs. Have you ever wondered what is in those giant rocks that orbit between Mars and Jupiter? The answer is surprising. Many asteroids are composed of materials that could be extremely useful for humanity. From rare metals to water, these celestial bodies could be the key to a sustainable future on Earth and beyond. Imagine a world where we can obtain metals like platinum or gold from asteroids, instead of relying on mines on our planet. This dream, which once seemed straight out of a science fiction novel, is getting closer to becoming a reality. Asteroids, which are mostly remnants from the formation of the solar system, contain a diversity of minerals within them. Some of them have concentrations of precious metals that would surpass any terrestrial mine. Why is this so important? With the constant growth of the population and the increasing demand for resources, the planet faces unprecedented pressure. Asteroid mining could offer a solution. By extracting these materials from space, we would not only be diversifying our sources of resources, but also reducing the environmental impact of mining on Earth. Imagine being able to build advanced technology without depleting the resources of our planet. However, asteroid mining is not limited to just metals. Water, an essential resource for life, is also present in many asteroids. In space, water can be converted into oxygen for breathing and hydrogen for fuel. This means that, in the not-so-distant future, we could establish bases on asteroids and use those resources to support more ambitious missions, such as the colonization of Mars. Now, how do we plan to carry out this space mining? The answer lies in technology. As we advance in space exploration, we are also developing tools and techniques that will allow us to reach these asteroids and extract their resources, from autonomous drones to mining robots. The space industry is constantly evolving, and each discovery brings us one step closer to asteroid mining. Nevertheless, there are challenges to overcome. The distance between Earth and asteroids can be a considerable obstacle. Some of these rocks may be millions of kilometers away, which means that transporting materials back to our planet will not be easy. However, scientists are working on innovative solutions that could facilitate this process. The creation of space stations near asteroids could be one of the answers to this problem. Some might wonder, is it worth investing in asteroid mining? The answer seems to be affirmative, with the growing demand for resources on Earth. The potential return on this investment could be monumental. Private companies are beginning to invest in this area, and studies and missions are already underway to identify asteroids that are ideal candidates for mining. Let's imagine for a moment what a future interplanetary economy might look like. Asteroids could become factories of resources, supplying materials not only for Earth but also for colonies on other planets. The idea of interplanetary trade may seem like a science fiction concept, but it is not that far from our reality. In the future, we could be buying products that come from asteroids, expanding our economy to a level we have never imagined before. However, not everything is that simple. Asteroid mining raises ethical and legal questions that need to be addressed. Who has the right to claim the resources of an asteroid? How can we ensure that this new industry does not harm space or other celestial bodies? These are important questions that need answers before we can move forward responsibly. The future of asteroid mining depends not only on technology and economic investment, but also on how we address these dilemmas. International cooperation will be key. Just as the oceans of Earth are a global resource, space must be seen as a shared heritage of all humanity. Creating laws and regulations that protect this vast resource will be essential to ensure that asteroid mining benefits everyone. As we continue to explore the cosmos, we may discover that asteroids are more than just floating rocks. They could be the key to our long-term survival. With each advancement we make in this field, we get closer to becoming an interplanetary species, capable of living and thriving beyond our home on Earth. In conclusion, asteroid mining represents one of the most exciting frontiers of space exploration. If we can overcome the technical and ethical challenges, we could be on the brink of a new era where the resources of space are as accessible as those on Earth. The question is not whether we will be able to do it, but when we will do it. The adventure is just beginning, and as we look to the sky, we can glimpse a future full of possibilities. Have you ever looked up at the sky and wondered what would happen if one day we could live on another planet? The idea of colonizing space seems straight out of a science fiction movie, but the reality is that we are already on our way to that. Asteroids, those wandering rocks that orbit around the sun, could be the key to making this dream a reality. But how is it possible that these celestial bodies, which at first glance seem like simple rocks, can help us build human colonies in space? First, it's important to understand that asteroids are genuine resource factories. Imagine a barn filled with all kinds of materials, precious metals, water, and even elements necessary for life. Many asteroids are composed of metals like nickel and iron, which are fundamental for constructing infrastructures in space. Wouldn't it be amazing to build a space city using resources extracted from these celestial bodies? Instead of relying on Earth's resources, we could utilize what space itself offers us. One of the most intriguing questions that arises is, where can we find these asteroids? The fascinating thing is that many of them orbit relatively close to our planet. Imagine it as an interplanetary market where we could buy the materials necessary for our survival in space. Thanks to space missions and telescopes, we have been able to identify several asteroids that could be accessible for future expeditions. Thus, the journey to these rocks could become the new frontier of human exploration. However, it's not just about obtaining materials. Asteroid mining could also change our perception of water. Did you know that many asteroids contain water ice? This water could be used not only for drinking, but also for producing oxygen and fuel. Imagine a colony on Mars that doesn't just depend on transporting water from Earth, but can extract it directly from a nearby asteroid. This would make life on other planets much more sustainable. As we dream of colonizing space, we must also consider the challenges we will face. Asteroid mining is not as simple as it seems. One of the biggest obstacles is the lack of advanced technology to carry out these operations. But the good news is that research in this field is advancing rapidly. Every day, more companies and space agencies are designing ships and tools capable of landing on asteroids, extracting resources, and sending them back to Earth or to other colonies in space. Moreover, international collaboration will play a crucial role in the colonization of space. Who will be responsible for the rights to the resources extracted from an asteroid? How will we ensure that all countries can benefit from this new space west? These are questions we must address as we move toward a future where asteroid mining is a tangible reality. But what if asteroids could not only provide us with resources but could also be transformed into habitats? Imagine an asteroid turned into a space station. With the right technology, we could create spaces where humans can live and work, taking advantage of the resources that the asteroid offers. This concept leads us to think about the possibility of terraforming asteroids, adapting them for human life. The idea of colonizing asteroids also raises a fascinating question. Could these places be the key to humanity's survival in the future? In a world where Earth's resources are limited and climate change is a growing threat, asteroids could offer a solution. We could establish self-sufficient colonies that serve as refuges for humanity in the event of disasters on our planet. Let's think about what it means to be pioneers in space. The history of humanity is filled with explorers who have sought new horizons. From Christopher Columbus to Neil Armstrong, each step into the unknown has led to discoveries and advancements. The colonization of asteroids could be the next great chapter in this story. It would be a journey into the unknown, full of risks but also opportunities. However, the adventure is not without dangers. Asteroids themselves are unstable bodies, and resource extraction could pose safety challenges. It is vital that we develop technologies that not only allow us to extract materials but also ensure the safety of astronauts. Each mission will be a testament to human ingenuity and our ability to adapt to extreme environments. As we reflect on the future, let's also think about the legacy we will leave behind. The colonization of space is not just about finding new resources, it is about building a sustainable future for the next generations. It is an opportunity to learn from our mistakes on Earth and create a new home based on cooperation and respect for the environment. Finally, on this journey to the stars, asteroids will be our allies. They will be the stepping stones that lead us to new worlds where humanity can thrive. The colonization of space is not just a dream, it is a possible destination, and asteroids could be the key to making it a reality. Are you ready to be part of this adventure? The story is just beginning and the universe is waiting for our arrival. The search for other worlds is a topic that sparks the imagination of many. Do planets like Earth really exist out there? That question has intrigued scientists and dreamers alike for centuries. With the advancement of technology, we have begun to explore the vast universe in search of answers. But what makes a planet habitable? The answer may be more complex than it seems. The habitability of a planet does not depend solely on its distance from its star, although that is a crucial factor. Imagine you are an explorer in a vast ocean. You are not just looking for an island, but also examining the conditions of the water, the climate, and the life that might exist there. Similarly, scientists consider factors such as the atmosphere, temperature, and the presence of water when searching for worlds similar to our home. A suitable atmosphere is essential. Without it, life as we know it could not exist. Think of a balloon. If it is not inflated, it collapses. Likewise, a planet needs an atmosphere that protects it from solar radiation and maintains an appropriate temperature. Some planets, like Venus, are even too close to their star, resulting in an extreme greenhouse effect that makes them uninhabitable. Can you imagine living in a place where the temperature exceeds 400 degrees Celsius? Water, that vital liquid, also plays a fundamental role in the search for life. Scientists have observed that Earth is unique not only for its atmosphere but also for the abundance of water on its surface. Could there be other planets that harbour oceans or lakes? The answer is a resounding yes. through powerful telescopes and space probes, we have detected exoplanets in the so-called habitable zone, where conditions could be suitable for liquid water. For example, Mars, our red neighbor, has shown signs of water in the past. Imagine a desert that was once a vibrant oasis. Now the question many ask is, if Mars had water, could it have harbored life at some point? The search for microorganisms on its surface is a constant effort, and each new finding brings us closer to answering that intriguing question. But we are not only interested in Mars. There are moons in our solar system, like Europa, that may have hidden oceans beneath their surface. Who would have thought that a moon of Jupiter could be a place to search for life? Science fiction becomes real science as we explore these distant worlds. The possibility of creatures existing in unexpected places makes us rethink what we consider habitable. The Kepler Space Telescope has been a pioneer in the search for exoplanets. This observatory has discovered thousands of worlds orbiting other stars. Some of these stars are similar to our Sun, increasing the likelihood of finding planets in their habitable zones. Can you imagine how many Earth-like lands could be waiting to be discovered? At the same time, astrobiology, the science that studies the possibility of life in the universe, is expanding. Scientists are not only looking for life as we know it, but also for forms of life that could be radically different. Just as we have found organisms on Earth that can survive in extreme conditions, it is possible that life on other planets has evolved in surprising ways. What would a creature living in an environment with high temperatures and extreme radiation levels look like? The journey to identify habitable worlds does not stop. Mission after mission, scientists launch probes and telescopes that help us track these distant celestial bodies. The next generation of telescopes, like the James Webb Space Telescope, promises to open new doors to our understanding, allowing us to observe the atmospheres of distant planets and search for signs of life. What discoveries await us on the horizon? However, the search for other worlds is not just about finding life, it is also about understanding our place in the universe. Each new discovery reminds us that Earth is a small island in a vast cosmic ocean. It makes us wonder, are we truly unique? The possibility of other habitable planets invites us to reflect on the fragility of our existence and the importance of caring for our home. Philosophers and scientists have debated for centuries about the possibility of extraterrestrial life. The famous Drake equation attempts to estimate how many civilizations might exist in our galaxy. It is fascinating to think that we might not be alone in this vast cosmos. But at the same time, it also leads us to question what it means to be human and how our actions affect the universe around us. The search for other worlds remains one of humanity's most exciting adventures. Each discovery brings us closer to a better understanding not only of the cosmos but also of ourselves, from the icy moons of Saturn to exoplanets in distant systems. The universe is full of mysteries waiting to be unveiled. What does the future hold in this endless search? The answer lies beyond the stars, and each day brings us a little closer to unraveling the secrets of the cosmos. Since the moment the universe began to expand, about 13,800,000,000 years ago, a series of extraordinary cosmic events shaped what we now know as our planet Earth. But how did it go from being a simple cluster of dust and gas to a vibrant home full of life? To understand this, we need to go back in time and explore the narrative of Earth's formation. First, let's think of vast space as a huge kitchen where ingredients are being prepared. In this cosmic kitchen, stardust, gases, and fragments of matter combine to form what is known as the solar nebula, a dense and dark cloud made up of hydrogen, helium, and other elements. Over time, this nebula began to spin like a spiral of moving mass, and under the influence of gravity, it started to collapse in on itself. As the nebula contracted, the temperature at its center increased dramatically, forming a hot sphere that would eventually become the Sun. But what happened to the rest of the ingredients? As the Sun was born, the surrounding material continued to spin and clump together into small bodies, similar to little dough balls that form when kneading flour. These bodies would be called planetesimals. Imagine these planetesimals as pieces of a puzzle. Attracted by gravity, they began to collide and merge with one another, forming protoplanets in a process that lasted millions of years. With each collision, more heat and energy were generated, causing the protoplanets to melt and transform into increasingly larger spheres. Can you imagine the energy released in those impacts? It was like a series of cosmic explosions, creating a spectacle of light and heat in space. Amidst this chaos, Earth began to take shape. At first, it was an inhospitable world filled with active volcanoes and a toxic atmosphere. But how was it possible for such a hostile place to become the life-filled planet we know today? The answer lies in the continuous accumulation of materials and the influence of asteroids and comets that, over millions of years, bombarded young Earth, bringing with them the necessary elements for life. Think of these asteroids as messengers from space. Each time one of them collided with Earth, it not only brought minerals and metals, but also water in the form of ice. This water, when melted, began to fill the oceans, creating a conducive environment for the development of life. Have you ever thought that every drop of water you drink could have a cosmic origin? It's fascinating, isn't it? As Earth cooled, the crust began to solidify, forming continents and oceans. However, Earth's story didn't stop there. Volcanic activity and collisions continued for millions of years, shaping its geography. At this point, it's interesting to consider how Earth is a reflection of its history, with every mountain and valley telling a part of its narrative. Meanwhile, the atmosphere was also transforming. The gases released by volcanoes and the impact of comets began to create a rich mixture of oxygen, essential for the development of life. This process was gradual and complex, similar to how a recipe is crafted with patience and precision, where each ingredient plays a crucial role. Finally, after hundreds of millions of years, Earth began to experience a significant change. The first forms of life, single-celled organisms, emerged in the primitive oceans. But what led to the evolution of more complex organisms? The combination of factors such as temperature, water chemistry, and sunlight created the ideal conditions for life to thrive. The story of Earth's formation is ultimately a tale of transformation and adaptation. Every event, from volcanic explosions to asteroid impacts, contributed to shaping the planet we inhabit today. Through this process, Earth not only formed but also became a place where life, in all its forms, could flourish. The next time you look at the starry sky, remember that the stars you see are witnesses to this epic story. Each one has played a role in the creation of worlds, in the cosmic dance that has led to the existence of our home. Earth, in its uniqueness, is a product of a constantly changing and evolving universe. So as we reflect on the formation of Earth, let's consider the fundamental role of asteroids and other celestial bodies. They are not just floating rocks in space, but key pieces in the puzzle of our origin. Isn't it incredible to think that in a corner of the cosmos, a simple grain of dust could give rise to life as we know it? Earth, that tiny blue dot suspended in the vastness of the cosmos, poses one of humanity's most intriguing questions. Are we alone in the universe? Often when we look at the stars, a sense of wonder envelops us. Each twinkle in the sky could be a sun like ours, surrounded by unknown worlds. But do other planets exist that harbour life like ours? The search for other worlds has been a constant drive for scientists and explorers. For decades, they have launched powerful telescopes into space, capable of seeing beyond what our eyes can perceive. But what exactly are they looking for? They are not only searching for planets, but also for conditions similar to those that have made Earth a fertile home. The key lies in identifying habitable zones where liquid water and a stable atmosphere can give rise to life. Imagine we are on a quest for Earth's sister. How do we know what characteristics it should have? Scientists have identified several important factors: the distance from a star, the type of star, the composition of the atmosphere, and the presence of water. If a planet is located in a zone that is neither too hot nor too cold, it is called the habitable zone. But is it enough to be in that zone? There is much more at stake. Earth is not just a place with water and air. Its geological history has played a crucial role in life as we know it. For billions of years, our atmosphere has changed, continents have drifted and moved, and life has evolved in response to these changes. What if we find a planet that seems to be in the habitable zone, but its atmosphere is toxic? Sometimes an apparently perfect environment can have surprises that prevent life. The search for life is not limited to Earth. Scientists have turned their gaze to moons of other planets in our solar system, such as Europa, a moon of Jupiter believed to have a liquid water ocean beneath its icy surface. Could there be life there? The answer remains a mystery. Exploring these places is essential to understanding the possibilities of life on other worlds. And this is where asteroids also play an important role. Research has suggested that asteroids could be messengers from the past. Known for their primordial composition, they may contain clues about how planets formed and whether there were ever conditions conducive to life. Could they help us understand if other planets have the necessary ingredients to support life? The questions do not stop there. As we explore beyond our solar system, we find exoplanets, worlds that orbit other stars. Some are in their own habitable zone, but what about their composition? Theories suggest that many of these planets could be very different from Earth. Some might be covered in gas, while others could be worlds of molten lava. What does this mean for life? The diversity of the universe is astonishing. Each star may be surrounded by unique planetary systems. Some scientists believe there could be billions of planets in our galaxy, and many of them could be habitable. However, distance is a huge obstacle. How can we communicate with or travel to these distant worlds? Current technological limitations make the idea of visiting these places a distant dream. An intriguing concept that has emerged in the scientific community is that of microbial life. If life can arise in extreme environments here on Earth, such as in the depths of frozen oceans or in hydrothermal vents, could it also exist in unexplored places on other planets? This idea expands the possibilities that we are not alone, even in the most remote corners of the universe. The search for life has become a collective effort. From telescopes on Earth to space probes exploring Mars, each discovery brings us one step closer to answering the question of whether we are alone. Every new planet discovered, every moon analyzed, every asteroid explored reminds us that the cosmos is full of mysteries waiting to be solved. At the end of the day, the answer to whether we are alone may be as complex as life itself. Earth is a unique place, an oasis in the darkness of space, but it is also just a part of a much larger whole. If there is life elsewhere, how would that change our understanding of the universe and ourselves? With each discovery, the universe seems to become a little smaller, and the idea that we are not alone becomes a little more plausible. Human curiosity is insatiable, and as we continue to explore, the possibility that there are other beings, other worlds, and other stories to discover drives us to look to the stars with hope. Are you ready to keep exploring? Asteroids are more than just wandering rocks in space. They are silent witnesses to the history of our solar system, carriers of secrets that have shaped the Earth and therefore life as we know it. But how is it possible that these celestial bodies, which seem so insignificant in the vastness of the universe, play such a crucial role in the creation and destruction of worlds? The duality of asteroids is fascinating. On one hand, they are the building blocks that shaped our planet, providing essential materials that allowed for the creation of oceans and continents. On the other hand, they are also messengers of catastrophe, capable of triggering events that can change the course of life. In this sense, asteroids are almost like the two sides of a coin, representing both creation and destruction. Let's think of an asteroid as a brick in the construction of a house. Without those bricks, we wouldn't have a solid structure. The same goes for Earth. Asteroids brought the necessary ingredients to form our planet and, over time, to create the conditions conducive to life. But what would happen if one of those bricks fell? It could cause a collapse that affects the entire building. Thus, asteroids, although small compared to planets and stars, have the potential to cause a great impact. The history of asteroids is a narrative of contrasts. At one moment, they can be the architects of life, and the next become agents of extinction. For example, the impact that wiped out the dinosaurs was a brutal reminder of the destructive power of an asteroid. This event radically changed the course of evolution on Earth. In fact, some scientists suggest that without that asteroid, mammals and thus humans might not have had the opportunity to thrive. Can we really talk about a tragic fate for these celestial bodies? In the asteroid belt, where some never became planets, we find a cosmic graveyard. What stories do those fragments hold? Each asteroid is a remnant of a past in which planets struggled to form, a testament to what could have been and was not. Just like in life, the history of asteroids is filled with missed opportunities and paths not taken. However, not everything is a cautionary tale. The exploration of asteroids has provided us with a unique opportunity. Missions like NASA's, studying asteroids such as Vesta and Ceres, have allowed us to glimpse not only the past of the solar system, but also the future of humanity. Imagine a day when we can extract resources from these celestial bodies. How could that change the economy of Earth? Asteroid mining could be the key to a new era of abundance. The question persists, what role will asteroids play in our future as humanity looks to the stars? It is essential to consider how these bodies can help us colonize other worlds. They could provide the necessary resources to establish human colonies in space. Are we prepared for this challenge? The exploration of asteroids is not just science. It is a glimpse into the future that awaits us. Space surveillance is crucial. With telescopes and radar, we are in a race against time to identify and track asteroids that may threaten our home. Planetary defense is not just a science fiction concept. It is a necessity in a world where impacts are a real possibility. The question is, are we doing enough to protect ourselves? Earth is a special place, but are we alone in the universe? Asteroids could be the key to answering this question. Some scientists believe that these celestial bodies may have brought the first compounds necessary for life to our planet. If this is true, asteroids are not only carriers of destruction but also of life. Isn't it amazing to think that the very rock that could end a civilization could also be responsible for its beginning? Reflecting on the duality of asteroids, we find that they are a mirror of our own existence. They represent the ups and downs of life, creation and destruction, beginning and end. Each asteroid we encounter is a reminder that in the vast cosmos, every action has a reaction. Ultimately, our relationship with these celestial bodies may define the future of humanity. So, as we look up at the starry sky, let us remember that those flashes of light are not just stars. They are also asteroids, laden with history and potential. The duality of asteroids invites us to reflect on our place in the universe and our role in the cosmic narrative. With each discovery, we take one step closer to understanding not only our origin but also our destiny. In the end, asteroids are an integral part of the history of Earth, and their legacy will continue as we seek to understand the vast and mysterious universe we inhabit.